basically, it's just pouring hot water over ground coffee.
Oh, okay.
The idea, though, or rather the reason I choose to do it this way is because it gives you a lot more control over all the variables involved with coffee making.
Nice.
So, for one, having the right water temperature is really important. Actually, even before that, the quality of the water is really important. So looking at like hardness and the mineral content, things like that, because coffee is like 98% water.
Yeah.
So you want the water to taste good, and you want the water to be the right temperature, because certain compounds that are present in coffee extract more at different temperatures. So if the temperature is too low, you're not going to extract the compounds responsible for like sweetness, but if the temperature is too high, you're going to extract a lot of compounds that are responsible for like bitterness and astringency, which is like sometimes you get like a dry feeling in your mouth. So that's really important. And then control over which you can do this with any brewer, but having control over the size of the grind particles is important. The more surface area you expose to the water, the faster it's going to extract.
Yeah. Wow.
And then, so anyway.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Thanks
it just
for
lets me
explaining.
control everything.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I just never looked at it that way. But, so you were the one that started Perks?
No,
No.
he started Perks.
Right.
I was the first one to come on.
Okay, cool. All right, so how long have you been working here?
I guess 2 or 3 years. I can't remember.
Okay. And what made you want to move to Savannah?
Oh, I've lived in Savannah since I was 6.
Really?
I moved away in, I guess, 2008 to go to school in Chattanooga, and then I dropped out and took some time off, and then started back at SCAD. But I've been working in coffee since 2005.
Wow.
So
Okay.
popped around like a bunch of shops. And,
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what was I going to say? Totally forgot what I was going to ask you, but I'm going on to the next question. So what exactly is like your job title, or what do you do?
Mostly I do, I guess on my email it says Director of Quality Assessment and Education. So a large part of my job is tasting the coffee, figuring out why it tastes the way it does, and so scoring it, a lot of like data analysis and collection, and then meeting with Philip daily to talk about what I recommend that he tweaks in the roast to bring out or to reduce certain characteristics that I'm tasting in the coffee. So I score all of the coffees. It's basically just making coffee better.
Cool. Awesome.
And I do a lot of the sourcing, green bean buying. So like he'll roast, before we choose a coffee, we get like 20 or 30 samples that we end up tasting through. So I do the same thing. I taste and score all of those before we decide on a coffee that we're going to spend money on.
Nice. Okay. And what do you, you said you went back to SCAD?
I was studying, I guess like classical vocal performance at this school in Chattanooga, and decided I didn't want to do that.
Why is that? Why didn't you want to do it anymore?
Just because, actually Taylor and I both went to the same high school. It was like a fine arts, Savannah Arts Academy.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so I was singing there, and then I was just like, everybody told me I was supposed to go to college, so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll go do this.
Yeah.
And quickly realized that just like, I don't know, I find a lot of times when you make a job out of something that you love to do, you stop loving to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just a job. So anyway, I found that I didn't really enjoy singing anymore. I dropped out of school for like a year, and I was working on a riverboat with Taylor, also. And so I was out of coffee. Before that, I had worked in coffee for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I got a job on the riverboat, and within like a year, I was like, I have to get back into coffee. I'd been away too long. So Got a job at Gallery Espresso, I guess. I worked there for a couple years. And then Foxy Loxy opened up, and I worked there for like, I guess I was there for a year. Before I even went to Foxy, I went to Philip and asked him for a job, and he was like, I can't hire anybody right now. So I just came back like once or twice a month and talked to him, and I found, so like I worked in, at this time I had worked in like 2 or 3 coffee shops, and had really caught the bug, and I was like doing a lot of research on my own time and reading. I haven't tried it.
It's delicious.
Is it really?
Yeah, it really is. It's fantastic. It's really good.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was just like met with a lot of sort of like ridicule, people being like, you know, dude, it's just coffee, like don't take it so seriously.
Yeah.
And it was just something I was really into.
You're passionate about it.
Yeah,
so.
there's a lot of like things that people were ignoring that we could have been doing at these different shops to increase the quality of the coffee. And they were just like, I'm not interested in doing that, and I was very much interested in doing that.
Yeah.
So I guess Philip came to town, and Foxy Loxy opened up around the same time. And so I quit Gallery, I went to Foxy, and that was where I was in this new environment where like I was listening to a little bit more, people kind of got a little bit more.
Yeah.
But in Philip, I found somebody that got it, like he was the only other person I ever met in Savannah who took it as seriously as I did. And so even though he wouldn't give me a job, I just kept like going back and talking, and eventually he
gave you a job.
hired me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that, and like I guess I was at like Foxy Loxy and Coffee Fox, and here at one time I was working 3 jobs.
Wow.
And then just quit those and came here and
Yeah.
was packing coffee, and we were back in the other space, and eventually things grew, and
Yeah. Are you here?
now I'm here.
Hell yeah, that's
pretty cool.
awesome. So I think I already got where you sell like your coffee. I think Taylor already told me all that. But what are the ups and downs, like upsides and downsides of like running? I don't know, basically running Perth, like this whole like environment. I mean, I saw you guys Saturday. I mean, it looked like you guys were having a great time. Yeah, throwing the football and stuff. I mean,
Yeah. There's a lot of upsides. I guess first of all, everybody that works here really wants to be here.
you can definitely get that energy. That's exactly what I felt when I came
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So that's pretty important for us, for everyone. So it's just cool to work with like a team of people who are absolutely dedicated to excellence. Nobody that's just like biding their time until they find something better.
Yeah.
Certainly, opportunities may come up in the future that are alluring to any of us.
Yeah.
Like Taylor, I think ultimately he would like to. He's incredible at music, and he would probably like to record live music and make music. And I think if he ever has the opportunity to do that, he should do it. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's so good at it. Yona has a degree in food science. Kelly codes computers. So like we all have these like crazy
That's really cool. Like,
backgrounds,
different, yeah.
and like so like, but right now we're all 100% dedicated to this company and growing it. So that's really cool. I've worked a lot of places where people just don't give a shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Free coffee is great.
Yeah.
It's also one of the downsides. It's I think it's unique to work in an industry where everybody is high all day long. We're just all completely jacked up on coffee. So like tensions run high.
Oh my God, I
emotions run
bet.
high, and like a lot of yelling, and sometimes
I'd love to see that.
kick things.
Yeah.
Other downsides, I guess. Any of the downsides that just come with being a vulnerable small business. We're very vulnerable to changes in the coffee market. It's the second most traded commodity on earth. So there's just like with gold or with oil, the price changes day to day.
Yeah.
So we're watching that, and what a lot of companies do is like hedge their company against the market and protect themselves by buying, like, when the market's down, they buy a ton of coffee, and when the market's up, they don't buy. But that means that they have coffee sitting around that maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years old, and coffee does stale. Like, it's a green, it's a crop.
Yeah.
So we absolutely won't do that. We're committed to freshness and quality. So we're really, really susceptible to changes in the market. That is scary.
Yeah.
Because like right now they're forecasting, I think they're forecasting like a big frost in about a year in Brazil, and a lot of the market is contingent on what's happening in Brazil, socially, politically, ecologically. So we could see a huge jump next summer in coffee prices. So I don't know, just like day to day, it's like this. You can't think too much about like we might go out of business. And granted, we're doing really, really well right now compared to like how we used to be.
Yeah,
but you know, there's things that we want to do in the interest of quality, and so that we have more mutualistic relationships with our accounts. That if we do those things, we might lose some accounts, and we need our accounts to trust in us and stay with us. So those are crazy things, like things that we want to do that we don't know if we can do for the sake of business. But I don't know. I guess that's like most of it. It's just like I get up every day and I want to come to work. Like, I'm excited to be here every day. And it's also just a really cool industry to be a part of because so many other people think exactly the way we do. And we can talk to them and they're open. We can share ideas and even like strategies for roasting coffee, like in some other businesses you might not be able to talk about because of fear of like competition or something.
Yeah,
you might not be able to share those ideas. But I just got off the phone with a buddy of mine who's worked at a shop in Philly, and he worked at La Colombe, which is this big roastery in where's La Colombe? I think it's also in Philly.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
The guy that owns La Colombe is Todd Carmichael. He did that show like Dangerous Grounds. Anyway, now he works out in LA at Bar 9, and he's just been like a good friend and an ally. And I just sent him my coffee that I'm going to use a brewer's cup, and he's going to cup it and give me notes on it. And he went to he placed in the National Brewers Cup this past year. So like, anyway, just
really
there's
cool.
like industry resources and stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so what is your opinion like about like Savannah in general? Would you think, I mean, if you could like think of somewhere else, like location, whether it be like downtown or like somewhere where this could be that could, I don't know, it could grow more, or like is there anywhere that you have in mind, or just you think Savannah is just like a good spot to?
You mean, so like if we could be in a city other than Savannah?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think Savannah's perfect for us because there wasn't anything like this before we came along. So, before Philip came along.
Yeah.
I worked in Savannah pre-Perth.
Yeah.
And like, it was so frustrating. And granted, like, there's a lot of really great establishments that have been here. You know, like Gallery and the Bean serve really great purposes for this community. And we just wanted to do something a little bit different. And that's what I wanted before I knew Philip existed. I wanted something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so now, I don't know. I mean, you look like Perk and Foxy Oxy opened up like for almost 5 years ago.
Okay.
And then I guess Jen opened up Coffee Fox, and around that time anyway, now we have Collins Quarter. We have there was City Cafe.
Yeah, the City Coffee, I think,
City
right
Coffee.
over on,
we have the
MLK.
Foundry, which James Spano, who roasts for Cup to Cup, they're one of his partners. He roasts awesome coffee too.
Oh, wow,
so like,
okay.
And James was actually around a little bit before we were.
Okay.
But like, I think this boom in specialty coffee in Savannah is evidence of ours and James's impact on the Savannah coffee community. This is exactly where we need to be. We're growing a culture here.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do that in LA or New York. Like, they're totally saturated. They don't need anything like what we're doing. So to be able to like come in and change a community from the inside out in terms of their approach to coffee is pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. Well, I'm trying to think what and then, I mean, last question, I mean, do you love what you do? And obviously, you already answered that numerous times already in this. Thank you so much.
Great, you're so welcome.
I really appreciate it. I mean, I really like, I don't know,